They say imitation is the finest form of flattery, and for a while now I've been tempted to try something like this, a little video blog about birding and weather. This one, I'm thinking I'll just start off easy and do a little glimpse of how I like to try and look into the future with weather information to pick specific days that I think could be really excellent birding. I usually start off with my favorite site here, Tropical Tidbits, and click up here, forecast models. The first one that pops up is the Global Forecast System. It's an American sort of supercomputer that does its best to calculate an approximation of what's going to happen with the weather. It comes up in 6-hour windows of time, and usually right from the get-go I just quickly scroll and look at how these low pressure centers and precipitation sort of play out for our area. So this one is history. So starting around Monday, low pressure is forming in the southern United States. Comes up right around Lake Erie, usually with a low pressure system. You have your warm air sort of to the south and to the east flowing into the center, cold air is more to the north and to the west. Due to the amount of rain with this one, and the fact that it's sort of so close to home, I'm not really anticipating anything too exciting coming from this. So I'm going to keep clicking ahead to the future as the next low takes shape over the central United States. This one's definitely a lot more interesting. The low is pulling a little higher north, which allows this sort of warm, rain-free air mass to spread over the southern Great Lakes. There's definitely sort of a break in the pressure gradient here. It's not an extremely well-defined low, so that rain will block some of the passage of anything from coming too far away, but overall I think this has a lot of potential. I'm not going to delay too much on this. I'm going to skip ahead to see if anything else is exciting and then come back to it with a couple of other different maps. As I click ahead, it looks like this low really spins out over the Great Lakes, and at this point we're going to be approaching the colder side of things. You can see the snow starting to come in. So a couple of messy weather days ahead. Actually have to click quite a ways before that disappears. This is 228 hours into the future since the model ran, so we're looking at April 10th. I really don't like to look at anything over 400 hours, or 240 hours, say. At that point, you're pretty much getting into fantasy land, and anything that it's showing you is going to be exaggerated and unlikely to come to pass. But this does actually look quite promising. Multiple sort of centers of low here that are interacting with each other. Usually anything over or under 1,000 millibars is quite good for birding. These two lows here are actually below 990, which is usually quite good. There's high pressure over the southeastern United States. So I could really see, you can see it with the isobars here, but there'll be a big pressure gradient and sort of warm southwesterly wind flowing in right into southern Ontario. So at this point I've got sort of two sort of low pressure systems that are catching my eye, and this is when I'll switch maps. So I'll switch over to this one here. 850 millibars is about 1.5 kilometers up off the ground, and Levi's done a great job here with having temperature and wind on the same map. And when I click over, it's actually the same time as when I left off before, and you can actually see there's some very warm air coming into the southern Great Lakes here, and a lot of it's actually from quite a distance too. Something I really like to hone in on with vagrants is you have a very strong long distance wind. So if you were to ever expect a bird from Texas to arrive in Ontario, it's under something like this where they are getting a big boost from the weather to get here. So that's pretty far away. I'm not going to get too excited about that now. It would certainly be great if it came to pass. Dare I say you'd get an early flight of broad-winged hawks, or first surge of yellow-rumped warblers in the spring. But anyways, I'm going to zip back to that earlier one just because it's a little more likely to happen. The longer you get, the more chance there is for mistakes. So this is again Thursday, so this is that earlier run. If you remember, there was rain sort of over the southeast, so that's going to block those super long distance winds. But anything from southern Ohio or points further south are going to reach southern Ontario. You can really see the cold air wrapping around the warm air on the southern and eastern side. So that looks pretty good. At this point, I would quickly flip to another model that's very reliable, the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecast, just to see if it's on sort of the same page as the GFS. You can see it's a little further south. So there's probably a better chance of some rain getting in the way here for the Great Lakes, and it's really southern Ohio who might be reaping the benefits of this. It's worth keeping an eye on, though. Unfortunately, we can't quite hone in quite the same with the European model because the data costs about $100,000 a year. So Levi's really just mapped the 24-hour snippets that are released to the public. But yeah, you can see it. It likes the same idea that the GFS had of this low pressure sort of lingering around the Great Lakes, big blast of cold. And once we get to that sort of 240-hour range, it's showing that warm air mass again. Not quite as strong, so the European model isn't as excited about either of these lows as the GFS is, or as I am. But it's just a little insight into how I would pick these things out. I'm hoping going forwards I'll be able to hone in on some pretty exciting weather events. And you'll really be able to see why it's great for birding and why I think it'd be a great day, and helps me sort of pick out those special moments. So yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.